All right, welcome to part one of building an HTML5 website from scratch. This series of tutorials is going to teach you how to build an HTML5 website from start to beginning, or beginning to end, I should say. So let's just get started. Let's get a code editor. Let's open up Chrome. And Sublime Text is the code editor we use. There's lots of others out there. This is a great one. And you can download it for OS X or other platforms, Windows 64, Linux, or Linux 32 or Linux 64. So just download and install that like you would any other software program. And once it's installed, open that up. I'm going to show you real quick. Atom.io is another code editor that a lot of developers are using. And then Brackets is also another really popular code editor. And then, there's a million though. There's Notepad++, that's what I started with originally when it recommended. And then Ultra Edit is, I think, the first text editor I first started using, or code editor. But if you want to follow along this tutorial, download Sublime or use the code editor you're currently using. So once that's installed, let's open it up. Let's start a new file, and let's go back over to Chrome. I want to give you a couple resources. W3 Schools is a great resource, for learning HTML5. It'll go through examples. You can click on Try It Yourself, edit, make edits, and see results. And it's a great site for referencing all of the different attributes. So we're going to leave that tab open. And then another site that's going to be great for reference is HTML5 Doctor. This site is great at explaining. HTML5 introduced a lot of new tags, and the usage at the beginning was very unclear, or not very unclear, but somewhat unclear on how to use those new tags. So HTML5 Doctor is going to index all of the tags and then give an explanation of each one and code snippets. So our first tag on our page is going to be our doc type. And if you go to click on doc type and then click on code snippet, it'll give you an example. So let's just copy this and paste this into our document. So here is our doc type, and that lets each browser that's opening up our page know that we're dealing with an HTML5 document. And then the first tag is actually going to be the HTML tag. You open and close tags less than HTML, and then close greater than. And then now that tag is open, and we need to close it. So we go less than slash, and then Sublime is going to auto complete this because they've looked ahead at our document and see that we have an open HTML, and it knows we want to close it. So that is nice. Our first section of an HTML page is going to be our head section. So let's open and close a head section. And then our next section is going to be our body section. And our body is going to contain all of our content for the page. The head section is going to do several things. We can set our title. So we'll do the goods.digital and go homepage. Now let's close our title tag. A couple other things belong in the head section. Meta tags. Meta tags are self-contained tags, which means they don't open and close like a normal, like say I tried to close it and it's trying to close the head, because meta tags are self-contained. So for a meta tag, you just do a space and then slash, and then greater than sign is going to close that meta tag. So there's a couple tags in HTML that are self-contained, image tags, break tags, and we'll go over those. But meta is going to tell our browser, or tell the search engines, it's just going to highlight some information about the content on this page. So the first one is going to be charset, which just stands for character set, and this is called an attribute. So we're setting an attribute on this meta tag and setting the character set to UTF-8. And this is just the encoding that almost all sites use, and we need to include that here. There's other things that are going to belong in our head section, like links to style sheet and or JavaScript. JavaScript is usually added in the body tag at the very end, underneath the footer, but we'll go over that in other tutorials. CSS, our style sheet, is going to style everything we have inside of our body tag, so we can tell the browser that this paragraph needs to be read, the text needs to be read. So we'll go over that a little bit later. For now, let's jump over to our body and let's start adding some content to our page. So we can add an H1 tag, which just stands for headline 1. It goes all the way to H6, which we won't do, but we can. So now we have a headline 1 and a headline 2. So this is a headline tag, and go subheadline here. Okay, so now we have headline and a subheadline. Let's add a paragraph, which is just a p tag, and close. And we're going to grab some dummy text to fill in our paragraph. This site, lipsum.com, you can generate dummy text. We'll just do 2 paragraphs and generate it. And then we have some dummy text to fill. Excuse me. And then in Sublime, you can highlight multiple rows and hit. I hit the wrong key, sorry. And hit tab. I did it again. There we go. And then tab in multiple lines. Keeping everything in order and tags nested is nice because with our, for example, our head section, we're done with for right now. So we can hover over the line and collapse that section, which is nice if we have big sections in our body that we don't need to edit any longer and we want to free up some real estate on our page. So now we have a headline, subheadline, and some text. So let's save that. And let's go to our desktop and create a new folder and name our project. Name it HTML5 from scratch. And your homepage is going to be named index.html. Naming it index.html is important. Almost every web server configuration out there is going to look for an index.html file first as the home page. You can configure a web server to look for home.html or any other name you want to name it, but it's very good practice to just name your homepage index.html. And let's click save. All right. So now we have our first HTML5 website. It's actually a web page right now because there's only one page. And if you open that up and double click, it'll automatically open with your default browser. And here's our first web page. So if you look at the title and hover over the title, you'll see the Goods Digital homepage. This is coming from the title tag we added in our head section. This blank icon is called a fave icon, which we'll get into later. And it's just a small image that allows you to identify your website here in the browser in the top. So then we have our headline tag, our subheadline tag, and our paragraph. So this is our first HTML5 site. let's go back to our code editor now, and we're going to add a menu. Generally, menus are in the top left, or top right, I'm sorry. And we'll just add our menu right to the top here. Now, the nav tag is a new element in HTML5 that we're going to use. So if we go back over to HTML5 Doctor, we can read up about it here if we like. And they have the different sections. So here's our nav section. And it says the nav represents navigation for a document. The nav element is a section containing links to other documents or to parts within the current document. Not all groups of links on a page need to be in a nav element. Only groups of primary navigation links, which is what we're doing, primary navigation links. So let's just look at their code snippet, and we have a nav here. Let's go back over to our page and paste that in. We'll need to clean up the alignment here. And we have 3 links. Now this UL tag and these UL, and then the LI tags, this stands for unordered list, and this is a list item. So we have 3 list items in no particular order. Ordered list is a OL, and that is for, well, let's just show you. If we had an OL, that'd be an ordered list, and by default, they're going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, which we don't want for our menu. We don't want them to be numbered, so they're going to be contained in an unordered list. Now, we go back over, we'll see we just have the default styling with some bullets, and they're not linkable yet. So what we need to do is inside each of our list items, I'm actually just going to do one for right now, we need to create an anchor tag, which is an A tag. And then we need to close our A tag. And let's tab this over. So now we have an anchor tag, and we need to add an attribute to this. It's a href attribute, and this tells our page where we want this to link to. And since this is the first menu item is going to be our first nav item, I should say, is going to link to our home page. We'll name it home, and we'll link it to our index.html file. And let's go Apple S, save that, come back over, and now we have our home tag. And if we click it, we're going to stay on the same page because we're already here. But let's say we want to also include an About Us page. We can just copy that and change the text and the href tag. So we're going to go About Us, and we're going to link that to aboutus.html. Hit save, and go back over to our browser. And now we have a home tag and an About Us tag. I must not have closed the item, so shouldn't be on the same line. Both of those are closed. That must just be the default styling. So now we click About Us, and web page not found because we don't have an About Us HTML page yet. So let's go ahead and go File, Save As, and we're going to save this as about-us.html. And let's expand our head section and make sure that About Us page is named About Us. And then hit Apple S for save, refresh our page. Now when we go to the About Us page, we have an About Us page. It's identical because we just copied and pasted, but now we're navigating between pages. So we can change our content here, do our headline 1 tag to be About Us, and let's just kill that subheadline, and let's save that. Come back and refresh, and now we have an About Us page. So we can link between pages. And this is how you create a website to link between multiple pages. let's open back up our, actually, let me show you one other feature of Sublime. I'm going to close that. If we drag our project folder over to Sublime, it'll open up our the whole folder and all the files within the folder, so we can go back and forth real easy. And then if you double click any one of those, it'll open up a full copy of the page. So let's go to our index page and create another menu item. So let's go, let's say we have some services we want to offer, and we'll name that services.html. And then let's say we have a portfolio that we want to show everybody, and we'll name that our work. And then let's say we have a contact page as well. Contact us. So we're going to need to rename these two. Services is good here. Our work, we'll name this portfolio.html. And we'll name our contact us page contact-us. Okay, so now let's grab our, go to our About Us page. Now we need to update the menu on both pages. And this is the part where when sites get larger, you need to use templates, and PHP is the best for that. We can create a PHP file and have this menu be an include, and only have to update our menu in one spot, and then all the pages will update. But we'll get into that in our PHP tutorials. It's a little bit advanced for where we're at right now. So now we have a copy of that in our About Us page, and then let's save as and save it as our services page, just services.html. Sorry, and hit save, and then let's update our title to services. Save again, and then let's do save as again, and save this as portfolio.html, and update our title, and then one more time for contact us. And update our title one more time. Let's come down here and in our body and update the page title so we can see that we're changing between pages. Services, let's do our services, save that, and portfolio, go our work, save that. Our index, we'll just rename this to homepage. And let's remove the subheadline, we don't need that. And contact us we've already done, and about us looks good as well. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 page site. Let's go back over to our browser and take a look at it. Let's refresh. Okay, so we got our home page, the Goods Digital homepage, About Us, the Goods Digital About Us page, our services, and the title's been updated here too, and our work, and contact us. So now we have a 5-page site. Doesn't look pretty, but we do have a functional site, and we're gonna style this navigation, but that's going to be in our CSS tutorial. So that's going to be it for this tutorial for part 1 of HTML5. So we're going to jump over to the CSS tutorial and add a style sheet up here in our head section and start making our site look pretty. So if you want to jump over to our CSS tutorial part 1, and watch the styling, or you can continue to part 2 of the HTML5 website, which we'll pick up after the menu and navigation has been styled. So that's it for this tutorial. Hope you learned something. You should be able to now to create a site from scratch on your desktop, and in later tutorials we'll show you how to upload this to the web and get a domain name, and so the whole world can see your site. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.